Hello and welcome to the Legend of Heroes Gagharv, a JRPG series that goes all the way back to 1996. This is a mobile adaptation version of that series that some of you might be familiar with. You've got your main character here named Avon, and he's in search for his sister, Imel, that's apparently been missing for quite some time, and you pair up with your childhood friend, Mile. Now this inn here acts as your hub of where you always go back to when something is new to learn, so you're going to come back here really often. Now I certainly recommend that you see this little white cat here. I recommend you talk to that cat, and this is going to give you some backstory on what separated you from your sister, and it kind of gives you some just really good background so you're familiar with some of the characters that you're going to meet later on in your adventures. Now heading out to the battle, we can go to adventure map here. Now the battle mechanics are really simple in this game. It's a very familiar type of, I want to say recipe, where you have stages of mobs and they just kind of go in order. You have to fight these in order as well. You can't just like skip ahead. Now when you're in a battle, you have a formation that you get to set up when you start. And honestly, it's kind of wacky because everyone goes all over the place when you're fighting. So to me, it doesn't really seem like the formation really does anything, maybe except for the first second or two when everybody starts off. So like perhaps when you have your long range guys in the back or something, and then you have your close range guys in the front. I'm not really sure. And you can only use right now a total of 5. I don't think that increases, but you know, that's what you can do. Now, when you're in battle, you have a couple of items that you're allowed to use. You've got mana potions and HP potions, and then one more of these will unlock as well. On the left hand side, bottom left, we've got our stats for the battle, and you can filter those. In the upper left hand corner, we have basically our active buffs. So here I've got like attack and crit rate and what those are. Jump into the next one. Upper right, you got your battle speed. ×2 is your maximum that you have in this game, which is a little bit disappointing. Next to that, you got your auto battle you can turn on or off. Now, when auto battle is off, the only thing you have control over is basically just the special skills or ultimates. So again, everybody kind of goes all over the place. You don't really have control. You can't like just redirect your characters and have them attack whoever you want. To me, that would be great, but they don't let you do that. With auto battle on, they'll just completely do everything. They'll fight who they want. The ultimates and special skills will go off. And then also in the top right, you've got your pause menu where you can do all this stuff, but also if the camera shake is bugging you, you can turn it off. I mean, it kind of just depends on you. But to me, to get the best experience, I would leave it on. I don't know, maybe some people get motion sick with that. It's, you know, it is what it is. Now, when it comes to your daily collection of resources, I would say this game has a normal amount to collect every day. There's nothing like super about it. And I think it's kind of one of the weak points of the game, but I'll show you what you got. If you go down to the bottom, you got missions here, and obviously as you go along through the game, you get to collect certain milestones of these missions. So you got daily missions and you got weekly missions. Back out here over to event, collect your event rewards. And there's a paid pass you can get as well as just like the free stuff. Back out again. We've got summon. You do get a free daily summon every single day. So I think it's a character that can only go so far. Like you're not going to get like a super cool hero from this, from what I understand. But you know, it's there. All right, jumping over to your heroes themselves. When it comes to, you know, their gear and their levels, over in the top left, you'll see the kind of classification that this one is. He's also the specified leader, and what that means is just the character that you see like when you walk around here. You can actually just change that if you want to. You know, it's up to you. So you got your classification. Over here on the right hand side, you got your level. You can see that I've got a little notice that I can level this guy up. It's our main character. Real simple. Hit level up, and there you go. You can level by a certain amount of levels if you want. You've got your ranking. Ranking is when I think you've hit your maximum level. So like right now, Avon can't go beyond level 40. I've got to rank him up in order to get to the next one up. Below that, you've got your skill set. And skills are something that are pretty rare to upgrade. So I can't really do that right now. Gear is over on the left-hand side. And so all gear can be auto-equipped if you want to, or just unequip all of it. So here's the gear I have on Avon right now. Transcendence is pretty cool because basically it increases certain stats for that hero for like each one that you get. So this was stage 1, stage 2, Stage 3 is where I'm at, and so this one, it's his double fang attack is changed to Brave Rush, and his damage dealt increases by 60% of attack power. So each one of these, does something different depending on the character. So if I go over to Mile here, his Stage 1 gives him healing amount increases by 35% of attack, for example. Now, if you go over to Potential is also kind of like Transcendence, but it's a little bit different. It's a class-specific upgrade that you can do, and you need a very specific colored material in order to be able to do that. And that colored material is what you get from the Trial of Validation. I'll show you that in a second. So when you have that material, then you can upgrade. So for example, I need to get Stage 3. That's going to increase my max HP, my max attack, and my max defense. But sometimes it does other stuff like movement speed. If I go over to Mile, for example, his EVA goes up, or it could be something like crit rate, like you see here. Now, one more area related to the equipment is your smithing. So if you go down to Smithy on the bottom here, you'll have a couple of things on the left-hand side. You've got Equip Equipment, Origin Weapon Transcendence, Origin Weapon Refinement, and Accessory Crafting. So this is kind of neat because you can basically do different effects depending on the kind of equipment that you're after. And so like with Equip Equipment that I have unlocked right now, you can try and pick the type of equipment that you want, such as like a weapon, armor, or shield, and you can try and change the slot enhancement. There's a certain success rate and a certain fail rate, so it really depends on what you get. And I think as you go along in the stages for what you do for your enhancement, then your success rate might decrease. Not 100% sure on that. And on this particular account, I don't have these other ones open yet because you need level 8. But accessory crafting is also here as well. You can do an engraving effect, and then it'll tell you what that effect is if it's possible to get engraving on that item. Moving over to your battle section. At the top here, you've got Hall of Heroes. This is going to be basically your multiplayer, so you can rank up and get those kind of rewards when that particular weekly session ends. Over here, Trial of Validation. This is where you get those various colored materials that you're going to need, and each one of these is going to represent a different color of materials that you can see here. So some are going to be the blue, red, the light blue, green, and yellow. Book of Adventure. So this is where you get your gold and your XP, and each one takes a different ticket to play. So up here at the top, you got this little wheel here. These are your tickets that you're going to need, and those tickets, they do recharge I think only twice a day, or maybe once a day. Let's double check here. Looks like it charges one time a day, and you get 2 of them at a time. So these are pretty rare to get, so I would use these pretty sparingly. Sometimes, like say building up XP, and you're going to need this a lot because this game takes a lot of your resources in order to like upgrade your stuff, especially your levels as you go up. So I would probably try and just do the current level that you've already done, so you can sweep it with your tickets. And unless you really need to, then you can go up to the next one. Backing out here, going to Infinite Abyss. Infinite Abyss is like any other tower stage where you move up floors and you get rewards for each floor, but about every 10 floors they give you like a better reward. So like right now on every 10th floor they tend to give you summon tickets or like Raven volumes, and Raven volumes are a thing linked to your knowledge that you can enable for your characters. Now in the last 3 sections you have to unlock, I believe at 8, 9, and 10. That's your Corridor of Validation, your Temporal Rift, and then your Threat of Gagharv. Now when it comes to questing, they made this really, really easy, because on your little quest menu on the right hand side, you can literally just click on a quest and it will ask you if you want to go to that nearby region. You can confirm it, and then it'll take you to the general area where you need to be. And I mean, I think it does this for pretty much every single quest that you have. Very simple. And if you click the little magnifying glass next to one of the quests, it'll bring up your quest menu. And here you can look at the more context of what it is that you need to do. So like I have this Know My Money I'm on right now. Avon defeats the dark beast that appeared on the sea route. Defeat the dark beast appeared on the sea route outside Borun. And it even tells you what your completion reward is. And you can go here on the left hand side and take a look the different quests that you have right now. So I have a bunch of guild station quests that I've collected. You've got guided quests, sub quests, and of course your main quests. So very simple. It's kind of a nice system. You don't really have to like run back and forth in between each of the areas of the chapters, because you can just click and it'll take you to that region where you need to be. Now, I wasn't completely fond of all the battle sound effects at first, but it did start to grow on me. It wasn't that it was that bad overall, and I might be nitpicking because there are a lot of sounds that come off right. There's just a little bit about the battle that just felt a little off. But I also wish they gave you more control over the battle. This is very common though in a lot of gacha games where there's only so much that you actually get to do. The rest you just have to like sit back and watch. I did enjoy most of the soundtrack though, and it has a very nostalgic kind of effect. And I also really like that each chapter has its own music. So the map music isn't always the same. It's not recycled. It's kind of a little thing, but I like it that way. And I hate it when games become very stale with the same soundtrack over and over again, but this one doesn't do that. Now you will get stuck from not being leveled up high enough, and every so many levels you need to evolve your heroes. In order to evolve your heroes, you're going to need certain materials. Those materials can be hard to come by, and some of them you need to get from the Book of Adventure in the experience dungeon that I showed you earlier. So that can be a little bit frustrating because that's where like your grinding really comes in. Now, when you're playing on a phone, I'm using a OnePlus 12, which has a 6.8 inch screen. The font is actually hard to read, and this is probably my biggest complaint when it comes to anything related to the UI. It's not so much the size of the font I found out, it's like the font type that they chose. Now, maybe it's related to my own eyesight, but I have pretty good up-close vision, so I don't know. Anyways, that's what I noticed. Let me know if you experience the same thing. The game overall, though, it comes off as really charming and quaint. Obviously, like any real RPG, the storyline is integral, and unlike any other game I've reviewed recently, this one does a better job of connecting you with the main heroes and their goals. I didn't feel like I was disconnected from the main character Avon. He comes off as a noble character who has a strong sense of wanting to help people in need. The graphics are a mixture of like 2.5 and 3D sprites. They come out pretty crisp, and the profile character artwork is really nice. It has a hand-drawn style effect. Now, this game is going to appeal first and foremost to people familiar with the trilogy, and secondly, probably to everyone else that just wants to pick up a more old school RPG. But this is still a live service game. This is still a gacha game, because welcome to modern mobile games, know what I mean? But it has a lot of appeal for those that appreciate a mix of old elements with new. This has been Blue Screen of Tech, and I'll see you in the next game.
내가 읽지도 못하는 책을 가져오라고 했을까봐? 왕자님, 정신